Whenever we solve fractional algebraic questions, they are easy. So we have to get rid of the denominator because questions are usually complex and you're supposed to simplify them, and it is your job to make it simple. It is not other people's job to make it simple. It's your job to make it simple. So if you look at the equation here, first thing of all, you make the denominator and try to get rid of the denominator. So there are a few ways to go around this. One is what I always tell all secondary school students. For the beginning, you practice not cross multiplication method and not whatever other method, but always the find the same denominator method. So this is a square. You can see this is the pattern here. This is a square minus this is a. So you can see this and this. So we just need to multiply one more of this, then we can get the same pattern. So let's start with the first step here. Let's imitate them. So this is 2x and this is 2x minus 3 square minus x 2x minus 3. So in order to make it the same, we just simply multiply by the same bracket again. So we treat the bracket as one whole item, but remember when you multiply below, you also multiply on top. Okay, so that's the equation. So the equation must be 0, so you just put as a, you must make sure that you ensure the 0 is in. So using the first methodology of solving, so we can see that we are using this bracket square, then minus x, then this bracket, then multiply by the same bracket again, and then the bracket on the top. So normally I like to write the brackets first, because then I know what are the items I'm looking at. So you must take note that this is actually a minus sign. So this minus sign will essentially multiply everything inside, and it will cause everything to become negative also. Or we will change the sign inside there. So the sign is something that you have to work it out right at the beginning, because if you don't do it now, then you will realize that at JC level you are still making the same mistake. So we don't combine the thing yet, but we make sure that they're the same denominator. This is a step that I will expect all students to do at the beginning. Once you are familiar, you can skip certain things lah. Okay, so an equation must be complete on both sides. So you must have the right hand side, you must have the left hand side, and you don't put another extra equal sign at the left or right hand side. This is very important because these are all mathematical notation. So you can use the arrow sign or you can do whatever, but this is equals to this and not your equal. It's not you do the thing and then becomes equal. No, this is the left hand side and this is the right hand side. And it must be, the equation must always have two sides. So now that you know that the denominator is the same, you want to combine the thing together. So when you join the equations, you always take care of the sign. Okay, so now we know the denominator is this. So you multiply by 0, you still get 0. And you need to solve the the equation. So you can treat it as, okay, never mind, we do the expanding first. It's a plus, it's minus x times minus 3x, so it's a plus 3x. So because we want to cross multiply, so we know this is x squared so this 0 over 0. And in order to make same denominator, I multiply by the same thing again. So this one got square, so I also multiply by square. But anything multiplied with 0, we know that it is a 0. So in short, once you come to this level here, once you come here, what will happen is you can actually just only write the top. Did I multiply wrongly? No, it's correct. Because the denominator, once you bring over, they are same denominator, both sides same, so you don't need to do anything anymore. See, this is both sides same. So this one and this one is now the same. The ground is now the same. You see, if I don't put a 0 below, it looks the same. So this is an easy way to do it, and lesson mistakes also. For sec 1s, I always encourage you to always multiply out the denominator instead of cross multiply here, cross multiply there, until you don't even know what you're multiplying. So you have a negative 2x here plus 5x equals to 0. Then of course, like what I say, I don't like to work with negative numbers, so I put it the other way around. So I change all the sign as well, because I bring it over to the other side. So then we need to factorize it again. So you have a 2x minus 5. So same thing, this is actually a bracket of its own. So this is a factor. So x equals to 0, or this bracket here is equals to 0. So 2x is equals to 5, and x then equals to 5 divided by 2. And so you get the answer. Okay, so this is a way to do it. Okay, clear? Another way to solve this equation is the shortcut way, is the cross multiplication method, which your teacher will teach. But even the cross multiplication method, you still need to put the same denominator. So you do your same denominator still, then I shortcut the process. So we will have bracket square minus bracket square, bracket times bracket. So now it's the bracket square. So this is x times 2x minus 3. Then this is 2x. Then this is equal to 0. So then I combine. This will be the bracket square. And so this will be 2x minus x times 2x. I'm not going to x times 2x minus 3. Okay, so I'm not going to multiply the bracket. So we cross multiply. What we'll do is we'll multiply upwards, and this thing multiply this 0 over 0, 0, this 0 over 1, sorry. This 0 over 1. Because you cannot have 0 over 0, that's infinity. So 0 over 1, so 1 multiplied by this is 1. So now you have 2x. You have 1 here, and multiply by 2x minus x minus 2x. So no more base. Why is it that I ask you to do the first one? Because you don't have a tendency to make the same mistake. This is 1, yeah? This is 1. So you don't have a tendency to make any mistake, and it becomes very clear that, oh, these both sides are the same, and therefore I can put it as one single line. But of course you will learn how to accelerate and write down the steps faster later on. So although the cross multiplication method may look like a shorter step, but if you cross multiply the wrong direction, then your answers will be wrong also. So to play safe and to ensure that your numbers are always correct, you always go by the method that is clearest, not longest, clearest. So you have this one. Same thing. This is a negative sign. whenever there's a negative sign, we have to be extra careful with slow down. And so this is square. So negative times negative will give you a positive. So you will end up with the same equation there. So you have a 5x minus 2x squared. This is 0. So same thing, we need to factorize again first. So we take out the x. So you have a 5 minus 2x squared. So this is what happens if you don't bring it over. But I prefer to work with positive numbers than negative numbers because tendency is you get the answers wrong very easily. So x equals to 0 or 5 equals to 2x squared. So then x, hey, no more square already. I take out the x already. So then x equals to 5 divided by 3. After a while you will know how to adjust and ensure that you, whenever you flip over the sign, you don't get this kind of mistake. But at the beginning you must always be very careful. You always work with the clearer step and never work with the unclear step. The clearer your steps are, the better and the faster you can work. And later on you can have many ways of shortcutting the thing. So you always work with the clearest working to ensure no mistakes. The mistakes will be fatal later on. Mistakes at this level may not be fatal because you're still learning. But the mistakes that you are learning right now and you cannot undo in later stage, you will have a whole page of mistakes later on because every working is linked to each other at JC level, and it's like one full page of foolscap, like 2 pages, like writing an essay question like that. So please get rid of mistake early, as early as possible.